First of all, I don't agree that the pandemic has contributed much to the state of journalism in Turkey. It was already in a bad state for years in Turkey, and actually, I don't think the measures of strict measures of COVID-19 pandemic has had any worsening effect. I mean, it was already worse. We had many journalists and writers and media employees in prison. Many of our colleagues were left jobless. Either they were forced to resign or fired from their jobs. And the media ownership, almost 75%, according to some academic research, are in the hands of business groups close to the ruling Justice and Development Party government. They cannot find any new jobs. So the freedom of press is very much related to this issue, and the state of journalism in Turkey, unfortunately, was already in bad shape before the pandemic. I think that's a global problem, not related with Turkey already. In Turkey, particularly, I can say that the value of science, especially the medical science, was understood better. But the question whether the science will prevail or the strong leaderships, populist leaderships would, they are not alternatives. The history is full of examples, many examples for centuries that authoritarian leaderships, populist leaderships have used science truly, very deeply. I mean, Nazi Germany is the best example for that. They used science, the most advanced science, in the worst possible ways against humanity itself. So I don't think science will dominate or populist politicians will dominate, are alternative to each other. Unfortunately, they can feed each other as well. It depends on the will of the politicians, the will of the ruling force in that country, whether it's a democratic force or not. It depends on their will, whether they want to use science in a better way or worse. I mean, the World Health Organization, in its report in 2017, February, said that a big disease, they call that a disease X, very much like to SARS or Ebola, was going to come. What did the democratic or non-democratic governments of the world did about this? Nothing. So science itself is not a fetish. So it can be used in good purposes or bad. Especially international politics, agenda related to international politics and international conflicts were swept under the rug in the sense of media and public attention, because all over the world, people are very much, very naturally, very much interested in their own lives. I mean, imagine that in the United States, in Europe, in many other countries, thousands and thousands of people are dying, have died and are dying now. So when people are very much focused on their own lives, I mean, this is not an economic crisis, this is not a political crisis, this is a humanitarian crisis, a health crisis. So it's very natural that people are not interested in other issues. But that doesn't mean that those issues are swept under the rug and will stay there forever. They have already started to emerge out of the rug, I would say, like financial crisis, like regional conflicts, like economic crisis, like the oil prices, for example. And Syria issue has started to emerge once again, like Libya issue. And the big show will start when China and United States will start to clash each other in the field of economy and technology.